being very quiet. We are now recording, and officially a very big welcome to all of you who have joined us and the Diamond Light community for this really, really powerful August solar eclipse, where we have the sun in Leo and the moon enabling and facilitating a funnel of energy from Aquarius through our being. So some very, very interesting correspondences and energies being generated as a consequence through this solar eclipse period. So welcome everybody. If the sound actually goes a little bit funny or goes a bit off, please just let me know. For the moment, it would seem that the sound is fine. So without further ado, I think in America, the timing is such that there are quite a few of you who will be witnessing the eclipse over the next hour or so, if I'm not mistaken, wherever you are geographically. So really interesting that we actually have it happening at the same time as the call. Jacqueline's putting a comment in the chat room here. Hi guys, sorry, we're just actually checking this. Yeah, correct. Starts about 9:15 Pacific time. And that's, you know, those are the correspondences and the synchronicities that are happening around this are just truly phenomenal. Because that was not starts in 2 minutes where Elaine is. That was obviously not taken into consideration. I actually scheduled the event around 5 p.m. British summertime, which is kind of the middle of the road in respect of trying to encapsulate and capture all of the time zones around the world. Really, that was just it. So for us to be live online at the time the eclipse is actually happening is really, really amazing. So what we have today, let's just have a look at the signatures for the day. And I was actually amazed also at the Mayan configuration and the combination of energies for today, because what we have today is what is known as the white crystal dog. And the dog is this central glyph in the middle of this particular configuration. It is kin 90, as it's called, kin 90. White crystal dog, the affirmation is I dedicate in order to love. So we dedicate ourselves to our future selves in order to embody love. I dedicate in order to love, universalizing loyalty. And that really asks us to take a look at where our loyalties lay. Universalizing loyalty, I seal the process of the heart with the crystal tone of cooperation. I am guided by the power of spirit. Very powerful. So this is the spirit, and this is the guide. Just a brief explanation. This is the unconscious, and this is a reminder to also ensure that we have fun while we are doing what we're doing. But what really fascinated me about its configuration at the moment is that this glyph is the moon and this is the sun. And the moon is the conscious guide in this configuration, and the sun is the challenge. And in respect of the eclipse, the sun in Leo represents the challenge of the ego, and the moon actually represents or brings us into the flow of emotions through our being so that we can sublimate the ego, ultimately sublimate the ego and the emotions of fear, transmute them all through the power of love. And I just love this because I can kind of draw an infinity symbol over this entire glyph, and in the center of both, the fear and the ego is love. So it really is that sublimation, transformation through the power of love. So the affirmation in respect of the Mayan configuration and energies is, I am dog. I am your ability to love and to start again. I give to you loyalty and help. And this start again was a theme. Also that we initiated through the 8-8 Lions Gate, because this represents an enormous opportunity to start again with the energy and the vibrational frequency of our future self brought into being and awakened within our conscious self. So it's brought up from the unconscious. And I'll show you how some of the astrological influences really corroborate and confirm that. So really, really interesting. And as White Star says, this is the month of the dog star Sirius. So I just love all of these correspondences. So the power of dog can be found in harmoniously living together with someone else. Dog teaches us to be loyal and to love from the heart, even at times when our emotions tell us to do otherwise. Dog shows us that guiding and following are indeed compatible in relationships. Dog reminds you to be loyal to your own ideals and your truths. And this particular time is also about your authenticity and about stepping more fully into the truth of who you are, the authentic power of who you are. And it is this eternal giving and receiving. And, you know, that again is this beautiful balance between the external energies of the sun and the internal energies of the moon. It's this internal, external, conscious and subconscious, this absolute flow of life through the infinity, eternal infinity symbol, the eternal Mobius strip. White Dog Days are all about love. Dog provides the ability to connect intimately with the people around you, to be open for friendship, romance, and family. Be like a dog and remember to give as well as receive love. And very often we find that it's easier to give to others rather than to give to ourselves and to be able to fully receive love. So yeah, it's something really important to remember. Spread the loving message around the world. What can you do today to be more loving? Um, what goes around comes around. If you give out love, you will get back. The guidance is focus on transcending limiting emotional patterns and activating your spiritual strength in relationships. Attune to the one heart, unite with your companions of destiny, and this is part of potential. Be loyal to your essence, your path, and your kin. And this is the exact energy of the eclipse as well. It's about transferring that loyalty to your essence, yourself, your soul, your sovereignty. We let go of that externalizing of transferring our power and giving it away to the patriarchal systems that have actually been in place. And this is a theme that's going to carry us through for the next, it's 14 years until 2031. Really, really important, but be loyal to your essence. And interestingly, allow yourself to bare your teeth at times. The Mayan word for dog also means feet. Pay attention to your feet so you don't stub your toes. Feet might very well mean to follow or to stand with both feet on the ground. So ensure that you are grounded in what you do. Baring your teeth is really about being able to speak up when your boundaries have perhaps been infiltrated or pushed by somebody else, to ensure that your sovereign space is actually um, held sacred, essentially. And that can require us metaphorically baring our teeth and being able to speak up. So very, very important energies and essence around that. And then today is crystal tone 12, which represents the maximum evolution of form, its attainment of complete complexity. So it's about complex integration, if you like. Having dissolved the rigidity in tone 11, which was yesterday, the crystal tone represents a higher order of coordination. So here we have the opportunity through the gateway and the portal of this day to establish a higher order of coordination. It offers complex stability, creative cohesion, and comprehensive vision. Here we perceive the coherency of the whole as a composition of related parts, honoring the elaborate interworkings of life as a mandalic synthesis. Crystal Tone asks us to universalize. So it starts within us. The focus today is within us, but then being able to take us out into that universal concept rather than, and that universal fabric, rather than bringing something in, we awaken within and we take it out, we universalize ourselves. To translate our knowledge and insights that they may be universally applicable, relevant, and shareable with all, assisting the elevation of the common good. So it really is a portal today which asks us to re-establish, to reform, to realize, to release, to surrender, in order that we may reconfigure everything that we are to be of service to common good. It's a very, very powerful opportunity. Embodying the highest qualities of internal and social architecture, like a crystal with its unique facets, individuals which constitute the power of a strong interdependent community, where each recognizes the sovereignty of the other, but it is recognized that that interdependence is absolutely necessary. The cooperation, the coordination for the full manifestation of each individual potential. No man is an island, to put it simply. So Tone 12 offers the recognition that in a healthy Holston, the needs of the individual are met by the collective, and in return, the individual feeds the aspirations of the collective. May we strive to collaborate with one another, combining our gifts and enhancing our efforts while remaining clear and lucid in the grace of our autonomy. Now, isn't that just beautiful? And those of you who are actually part of um, the Old Souls community would recognize the essence of so much of this work that we have been discussing, exploring, and integrating as part of the Old Souls initiative. And it is in that recognition of the uniqueness of each individual. So actually keeping us up to date. She says, wow, just went out to look at the sun with my Eclipse glasses. Looks like a bite taken out of the far right upper circle. Wow. Okay. Fantastic. So, perfect timing. So I'd like to share with you some of the astrological input and influences and information to support the understanding of what we are working with today, just to really deepen that. But it never ceases to amaze me how the Tolkien and the Mayan configuration, the calendar which was put together however many years ago, is just perfectly encapsulated the essence of the total astrological influence today through this eclipse. Really interesting. So here we have one of our favorite astrologers. There's a couple of us actually do keep in touch with him, and I like different astrologers depending on how they actually communicate things. And today it's Kai Pacha, who's really sharing his wisdom with us, and his description of the requirements of us at the moment are just, it's just really beautiful as far as I'm concerned. And he refers to this as surrendering to the dance, and that is the eternal dance. It's there is an eternal dance that takes place between the sun and the moon, and our relationship with the universe and with the stars, and this really encapsulates it so beautifully. And he says, when I really look at it, all of life is about taking a chance. And if I refuse to face my fear, I will never learn to dance. So in facing our fears, which is the darkness of the eclipse is taking us into the unconscious realms of those fears, we learn to take risks again and to reestablish the dance and the flow with all of life. But in doing so as well, we realize and release so much of the unconscious potential that we have perhaps not been aware of, and we take chances and risks and are prepared to take risks in life. It's like letting go of the safety net. So let's have a look at some of the additional detail for the astrology of the moment. The eclipse energies, we have Uranus planet, which is the ruling planet of Aquarius. It's prominently active at the moment. And Uranus is about accessing our personal unconscious that holds all of the information for our fullest potential. So everything that we are, our future selves, everything that we can possibly be is contained within our own personal unconscious. So we're talking the personal unconscious here, not the collective unconscious, even though what we do personally feeds into and uplifts and heals the collective unconscious as well. So this is really a personal journey. This time is not about emotional or ego comfort. So going through what we're going through can feel very, very uncomfortable because it is challenging our ego. It requires us to step out of our comfort zones, and our ego and our egoic self just really wants to hold us in that space that we can control, that we can manage, that is predictable. So this is really taking us into the realm of unpredictability, sort of like be prepared for the unexpected. We are in the Aquarius Leo axis. And instead of the Leo, which is the ruler of the ego and also the ruler of the heart, stealing the show, it is about using that energy to clean up our lives. So the power of the lion supports us in seeking out what needs to be cleared up within our own conscious to become more conscious and more aligned. And it's about bringing ego into service. And what do we bring it into service of? We bring it into service of the heart. Our future now through this gateway rises up to meet us. So it rises up from within because our future potential is being awakened. So it rises up to meet us. We are of the future. And we've sort of mentioned this a number of times. And, we were talking through the Lion's Gate, the 8-8, about building that bridge between our past and future selves, our present and our future. We are of the future, and as a result, many may feel alienated, isolated from friends and family, and may experience anxiety, depression, and despair. So, all of you here on this call, all of you who are connected in communities like this, of like minded individuals, you are of the future. And as a consequence, you do not fit in the present. You were designed. It's the same as the diamond light grid is a new matrix. It is the matrix, the shape of the future, the shape of the matrix as it's been installed and has been held within the fabric of our consciousness and our understanding for many millennia is completely different. A different geometry. It's a different configuration, a different structure. It has different rules. Of the future within the diamond matrix, it has a completely new set of rules. So we're still navigating the way into that future. And as a result, and that's often where, sort of a lot of individuals, and again, I speak about the old souls community because this is really what's happening, is that there's a need to feel aligned with your tribe, with others who are also here from the future to support the paving the way forward. And not to fall into and get dragged down and allow the spiral to take you down into the anxiety, the depression, and the despair because you simply don't fit in. So very, very important to hold your space. And once we establish a much, much stronger core and essence, we are able to sustain that strength and that inner strength more easily and not get dragged down into those emotional states. So we're also able to translate them. This is time right now, the influences and the energies for allowing your truth to emerge and be the internal light that shines and shows you the way. So your own light, the light of your own soul, is what shines the way forward. And I just think it's really powerful. Oh, well done. Thank you, Kristen. Kristen's just shared that with that explanation, it helps her to feel more relaxed and comfortable and to surrender. And that is surrendering to the process. So we always only ever surrender to our own higher selves, into the process that our higher self and soul desires to unfold with us and for us. Okay, so this eclipse brings us out of the past. It is bringing in great awareness and great power. And in that power is a need to let go. So there is a very, very powerful impulse to let go of all that has held us tethered to the past. So we really are being pushed. We're being pushed out of that old comfortable place. This energy, this eclipse, strengthens our wings so that we can fly. We are effectively being kicked out of the nest. It's like the mother bird, the great mother, is kicking the fledglings now out of the nest. It is now time to fly. And we've been learning, we've kind of been in the trial space. We've had the stabilizers on our bicycles and our wings have been growing, they've been seeded. It's time now to let all of those go so that we really can move forward with much, much greater ease and grace. And it is an energy that takes us into our future as that potential arises from our unconscious. It embeds and opens up our future within us. And it invites us to step into our authenticity and our sovereignty. And those are also, it's paraphrasing the insight from Kaipacha through these words as well. Very powerful astrologer. So, something else that is Hi everyone, I'm back. Sorry. No, the internet connection suddenly went down. How interesting was that? But then, yeah, we are in Mercury retrograde as well, but we shall just set the intention to hold the space. So hopefully you can all hear me again. Yeah, back. That's great. Better now. Okay. Yes. Okay. So yes, he was talking about the power of Uranus, which is the planet that rules Aquarius, as being the it's the planet of enlightenment, basically. And it is like a lightning bolt which comes through from that particular planet. The energies of Uranus are really, really striking to jolt us out of our complexity and into an energy of liberation, and takes us and really jolts us out of our comfort zones all the way. So a really, really amazing time. Now, one of the things that is particularly interesting at the moment, and we need to bear this in mind, because lest we think that we're going to walk through this portal and suddenly begin to realize the heaven on earth that we have been working towards and doing our work for, sort of really holding in our vision for so long, it's likely not going to materialize in a big way. We might see it starting to roll out in pockets, but in a very big way, we will only begin to see it when we have the transition into the what we call the day of the seventh evolutionary wave, which only begins in 2031. So for the next 14 years, we are going to be cycling through these evolutionary waves, taking us ever more expanded, refining our potentials, refining our approach. We're going to be testing this. We're going to be working with new systems. Come the time when the seventh evolutionary wave begins in 2031, from that moment onwards, we will begin to see changes, big, big changes in the established systems, in the establishment. So we will have a number of cyclical opportunities to weave this new dance in order to embed the authentic way of being between now and 2031. So this is probably, this eclipse in this month, August, is one of the most important portals that is seeding the way and seeding the groundwork for that movement forward into that space from a more collective perspective. So right now it's about whatever we do. This is a very personal journey. The eighth wave of feminine energy will continue to strengthen and cycle every 360 days, and the ninth wave of unity consciousness every 18 days, giving us the opportunity to continue building these energies until the seventh wave comes into a new day. That's interesting, Rachel. Thank you. She says it feels as though we are grounding the ninth wave for the children born since 2011. And oh, I've just got a real confirmation hit on that, because between 2011 2031, we've got 20 years. And those children, once they actually get to their 20s, they will be emerging into the world and becoming active participants in the sort of social systems, in the work environment, and in the social systems from 2031 onwards. So I think we are doing is really establishing the grids also through the work that we do, and grounding those ninth wave and eighth wave principles for those children. That's a really powerful insight. And from that moment on, from 2031 onwards, as they start to get older as well, you'll see them coming into the political arena, coming into positions of power where they will have the knowledge, the wisdom, the insights to be able to influence greater change on the world stage. That's a beautiful insight and a wonderful correlation. Thank you. Yes, and White Star says, yeah, our 27 Sacred Circles conference is to transfer stewardship of Mother Earth and the eldest to the younger generation. And that's really what it is. While maintaining, so we may transfer stewardship, we're going to still maintain guardianship until such time as they are able to hold that space for themselves. So really perfect synchronicities and amazing timing. Does anybody have any questions at all on that? I've just gotten, I don't know if it'll be helpful for some of you that have not come across the ninth wave and the 9 evolutionary waves information before. I'm not going to go through it in detail because it is quite extensive, but would highly, highly recommend Carl Kellerman's book, The Ninth Wave. There is an absolute resonance with this information that I certainly feel, and certainly many of us in our community can correlate and connect with. But the seventh wave, each of the waves of evolution actually comes in with a different frequency and vibration, and hence it supports different holograms, if you like, with that information, projections of that information. And the seventh wave that I've just mentioned actually has a wavelength of 19.7, almost 20 years. So we are currently in what's known as a night. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. This is really, really interesting because the signal is actually showing us quite strong and it just disappears. And I can't blame Africa or the because I'm in the UK. Really, really interesting. So the nighttime, the lower aspects of the peak represents time to go within, time to reflect, time to heal, time to act the unconscious. Now, very, very interestingly, we are in a time at the moment of where we're moving to with the ninth wave, where we are going into a nighttime. Tomorrow marks the shift into a period of night, a period of internalization and reflection. So very aligned with the eclipse energies and the darkness, the unconscious. So that's the ninth wave, and we are currently in a night phase of the eighth wave. So going within again to access the strength of the divine feminine. And then the seventh wave, we are also in a nighttime period of that wave until 2031. Joe says, okay, where am I in the UK? I'm actually in the West Midlands at the moment, Joe. Oh, interesting. Elaine says, yeah, that's why I want to get to that. Bigger bite out now. Birds have stopped singing, very quiet. So we're following the eclipse. Okay. The seventh wave, and this is what is I actually think, hi, I'm back. Don't worry, it's not you guys, it's me. I'm actually wondering if I need to just move location closer to the router, but it just keeps popping in and out and it comes back on straight away. And I'm wondering if it's the actual eclipse. And although the primary effect is over the United States, we would still be getting the effect of it, whether there's any impact on satellites as a consequence. So very, very interesting. Okay, so what I was saying to you guys was that the seventh wave in darkened unity consciousness actually represents the energy and essence of globalization. So, in the respect of unity consciousness being the darker elements of it, globalization and global control is really what has been the hologram that has been playing out as a consequence of the seventh wave. And especially with us being in that nighttime phase, it means that it's the more unconscious detrimental aspects of globalization, which we have been seeing um, in effect upon the planet. So materialism, rife materialism, atheism in that darkness is, sort of a collective disbelief in the divine, turning one's back on the divine in favor of science, industrialism and trends towards equality, but equality from the perspective of sameness and uniformity, not equality from the perspective recognition of each one's unique and individual and equal contributions to the pattern of the whole, which is so the ninth wave which we are moving into, healing, unity, fulfillment, cooperation, balancing brain, individual sovereignty, destiny, peace, and mutual honoring and recognition. That really helps to elevate the endarkened unity consciousness, but we're only going to see the greatest impact of that when the seventh wave comes back into an upward part of its cycle, because this energy of the ninth wave will then be infusing what has been the darkness of the seventh wave in order to lift humanity out of that and into a new way of being. So this is really part and parcel of where we're saying this is a gateway now that is enabling us to sow the seeds and to grow into that space which is being created. So it's worth bearing that in mind. This is a long-term process, as it always is. It's not just a one-off. Yay, hey, here's a portal and a gateway, and we do a transmission, and there you go, kind of thing. There's a lot more to it. It is long-term, and it is sustained effort which is required. So Bunny has just said, yes, they say the eclipse will cause confusion on electronics. Oh, how interesting. Bearing in mind that we are transmitting exactly over the time of the eclipse. Well, let's keep on going forward. And if you miss me, if I go quiet in the notification, because this has just been blipped, it's just really blipping in and out, just stay in that space and I will actually be back. So don't worry about it if we already know that this is happening. Hold the space and I will be back literally within a couple of seconds. So Another little bit of insight from Kaipacha and I love the wisdom in so many of his descriptions and words, whereas he says it gets more challenging to risk something once you've failed to get it a few times. And I think that's with many of us and many of the, so-called light workers, for want of putting a label on things, is that many people who have been at this and doing this work for many years have sort of um, perhaps feel a bit jaded and a bit fatigued and unwilling to take risks with something that they have tried doing a number of times before and it didn't work. It didn't work because it wasn't the right time. So this is really the time to face into our fears. This is, yeah, we can face into our parents' fears, lovers' fears, and many other fears whenever we go for just about anything. But now is the time to change all of that. Now is the time to believe in yourself, your truth, your power, to really and fully blossom like you have always wanted and known that you could. Okay. Um, so yes, it will take facing all of those fears and doing it anyway, throwing off the past limiting beliefs and conditioning and adopting the I can do motto. These are indeed intense times that are bringing up all of our fears right into our faces. It is an unconscious planetary plan. The purpose beneath it all is that we know ourselves more and more and deeper through every fear that we look at, and with consciousness, we then master. Be the master of your universe and enjoy it. So, this really is a time of self mastery. Oh, interesting. So we've got somebody's kitty acting a little bit frantic also, sort of in and out, frantic, then calm, alternating as the eclipse is actually moving in. Interesting stuff that's been going on with cats as well. So Rachel says, yeah, this keeps me going, knowing that I may become a grandparent in the future. I want to be able to do my best for my children and theirs. Yes. And some of us don't have children to even think about that with, but we do this in order to support everybody else's children, even if we don't have ours. So we really are still supporting future generations, knowing that they are the ones that are going to carry this forward. So this is a really, really deep process of um, filtering through ego, facing into fears, and holding the space and seeding our potentials, opening up to our potentials and seeding those potentials into the grids while we hold our own space and we connect with everybody else and share and ignite those potentials with the others that are awake within the new matrix. Okay, so we are going to work with the energy of the white line again. Um, Beautiful, because we are still, even though the sun is darkened by the moon, we are still holding and within the energy of Leo, asking for our inner potential and our highest potential to be ignited. So it's the strength that's provided by the lion to work through the limitations and boundaries of our ego self. And then the light code that I've chosen, I don't think is one that we have worked with before in these sessions. This particular light code is called growth. And when I was actually looking at them, it really felt that this was very pertinent for this process, because that's what we are doing right now, is we are growing into, whether we're growing our wings, we are growing into the expansiveness of our greater potential. We are unfolding our greater potential from deep within our unconscious. Um, yes, White Star says, "Aren't we told so often that we are the light?" Yeah. So as the moon passes over the surface of the sun, we ignite our own light so that we become the way showers for our own life. Sort of we guide our own life by our own inner light. We absolutely are the light. And this light code as well. So just spend a few moments perhaps taking it in. This light code of growth, you will see these sort of petal-like formations within this being held within the chamber, within this diamond chamber for strength. So it's kind of like those seeds have been held, the seeds of our potential, the seeds of our growth have actually been held within this beautiful container, just waiting for the right moment to actually open out of that space. And that's what the code is going to support us in doing, is in opening up those petals once we have dissolved some of the boundaries around our fears that have been held within. It's almost like it's about to be birthed. Yes, it's interesting because that was either this code or the reawakening code, but it felt that this particular moment in time that we are in, the energy is actually about growth that will then move us into a more expansive reawakening. Oh, how weird. Elena said the owls are starting to hoot. So, yeah, let's just hold our intention. Wonderful. Hold our intention for the internet connection to stay as stable as possible over this time. So we are moving fully into the eclipse, just such beautiful timing. Does anybody have any questions or comments as we prepare to just go into the process? Anything at all? No, you're all ready. You can feel the energy of the eclipse working already. A couple of comments coming in there. I hope all of that information that's shared with you just makes sense and provides you with the perspective. So Rachel says, I'm feeling cooler. Yeah, lots going on. Lisa, there's a ton of energy coming in, and my smoke alarms just went off. Be right back. Oh, that is so interesting. If I can just share with you, because we had an incident as well with a smoke alarm this morning, and there was no smoke, but the alarm went off. I feel power of us all around the world. Yes, and we are all around the world. Yeah, and it's all of that noise, not allowing that noise to distract us from our ability to surrender to the quietness and the depth of our inner space. How's that? Very interesting times. I'm taking some local environmental action tonight, which might involve being arrested to stop a polluting incinerator. Whoa, interesting, Joe. We will certainly hold you and hold you in that space. That's seriously facing into fear because that's up against the establishment, and I think these movements will become stronger and stronger. So Elaine says, took a quick look again, only about a third covered. Okay, so we're well on time. We're doing really well with the timing of the process. Thank you, Elaine. So we should be quite fine in respect of transitioning through the process timeously with the eclipse. Okay, I'm going to have to keep my eyes open for this one so I can, you know, keep note if the internet connection drops, because usually I close my eyes and journey with you guys. We will actually do a little intention at the end to hold Joe in the perfect space and in sacred space, fearless space for her endeavor, because that really requires us. You know, that's a really major thing to be taking environmental action. Well done. Well done. We honor you. We truly do. Right, guys. So if you are ready, let me just stop fiddling so that I won't have any noise. Yes, we do, Rachel, and that is what is just so beautiful about this process and about this work is that through the grid, what we do for one, we certainly do feed into and support the overall impact that is felt throughout the entire grid. So we do it for all, but in a different way. in an evolved way. It's not like sticking together as a tribe and following the directions of the tribe. It is doing things for all in a much more enlightened, evolved way. One or two more comments coming in, and then we're going to start the process. Thank you, everyone. It's just really lovely to have these interactions with you. Wow. So Kristen says so many healing energies flowing through my body now. Yeah, we certainly have been prepared for this. So thank you, everybody, for that sharing um, and for your insights and inputs and collective intention. So let's set a collective intention to uphold the connection between us all for the duration and the purpose of working with this eclipse. And I'm going to ask you, as always, to make sure now that you are comfortable. Making sure that you are seated or lying down in a position that brings complete and total relaxation to your body, where there is no stress on any one part of your physical being, as you rest and surrender into the space and you gently close your eyes. Just resting your eyelids one on top of the other, turning your attention inwards and following the flow of your breath in through your nostrils, down into your being, bringing in the light of life and breathing out stress, tension, allowing your body to rest and surrender ever more deeply into this space and place. And breathe as you establish now your diamond around you. Reaching up above your head to the soul star, down below your feet to the earth star. Be aware of how your diamond is responding to the influx of energies from the sun and the moon. And allow it to find its natural state of balance, anchored at the base of your spine as you breathe in through your diamond, synchronizing the flow of light through the fibers of your diamond with your breath. And as the sun and its vibrant light are slowly eclipsed by the depth and the dark of the moon, in your mind's eye you see and experience the creeping quietness, the darkening of the external light, dropping you into the expansiveness of your personal unconscious, into the deepest recesses of your being. Be aware of any emotions that begin to arise as the darkness deepens, and the expansiveness of your personal unconscious begins to be realized. For it is like descending into the depths of a deep, dark well. The you, the real you, is endless. What fears are facing you in respect of descending into this deep well? The deep well where nothing is visible, where all remains hidden and protected, and yet functioning and active, governing your life, governing your actions and beliefs and behaviors from places and spaces unknown. And before taking a step or allowing yourself to surrender into the well, you look around, and peering out of the darkness are the piercing blue eyes and the form, the shadow form of a sacred white lion companion, your sacred white lion companion. And you feel an enormous sense and experience of relief that you are not alone, that there is a strength and support for every step of your journey, for the presence of the lion in the darkness brings the courage to break through invisible boundaries within the depths of your own unconscious self. And the strength from the white lion emanates in waves. And as you connect and the white lion fuses and bonds and activates the strength of your own essence, the strength of your own self, as the frequency of his being emanates and permeates the molecules, physical and etheric, of your form. You are infused with his strength at the very fundamental levels of your being. and his piercing eyes that see into the darkness with the clarity of the feline kingdom. They are your eyes. For as the sun's disk darkens, your inner light becomes your only guide, and your inner light shines through these internal piercing blue eyes with a soft blue light moving upon the surface of the darkness of the well. And with the strength of the lion, you become unafraid to descend into, surrender into the embrace of the unknown, and you step over the edge, allowing yourself to transcend all fear as you sink into the vastness of your own personal, unconscious domain. And you seek out with that soft glowing light from your internal eyes. You seek out the ancestral fears from the past that have created forms or patterns within this deep unconscious well. And deep within the sacred white lion throat that is a part of your being, a vibrational purring frequency begins to resound throughout your body. And the frequency of this giant feline purr initiates the dissolution and the breaking down of whatever fear-based pattern you find and locate within this well, within this vast domain. With each fear that is dissolved is a resource that is given back to you in order to nourish and nurture the potential growth that will emerge with the new light. Simply follow this process for the next couple of minutes as I leave you in this space where the only guides you have is your own internal navigating system, the strength of your lion companion, and the purring resonance deep within your soul, your body, your unconscious, and your entire form and structure. Seek out, locate, identify, and break down the boundaries and dissolve your deepest fears. And bring your attention back now. And with those piercing blue eyes, turn that light inwards and upwards towards your soul star. And you see outlined within your soul star energy center the outlines of a light code that has been folded in on itself like a closed bud of a beautiful flower, awaiting the right energy, the right nourishment, the right opportunity to unveil itself and its beauty. And from the far distant reaches of this darkened universe is a lightning bolt traveling towards you, traveling towards your soul star energy center. It is the piercing, liberating essence and energy from the planet Uranus. Infused with the expansive awareness of the Aquarian constellation. And as the lightning bolt pierces your soul star energy center, the code being held safely within its embrace begins to unfold. And it unfolds as a glorious kaleidoscope of light-filled petals. A beautiful, soft, fresh green, the green of new growth, and the petals and the outlines of the code itself are structured and made from pure light. And within each of the petals are movements and patterns of light that represent aspects of your highest potential, the gifts that you've been waiting to realize in your life, the support for your stepping into your sovereign self, the frequencies of your guardianship and your mission upon earth. Each one encoded with an attribute that is unique for you. And the lightning bolt potentiates these higher attributes of your being as the petals of the code unfurl, surrounded by a mist of soft coral light, enclosed within the love of your higher being. These are the potentials of your future, unfolding right now. And the beauty of this code as it sits within your soul star is beyond description, for it is the beauty of who you are, the very growth which you have been seeking to release and realize within you. And as space has been cleared and boundaries dissolved within the vastness of your unconscious, you have created a well of receiving. So the bottomless well of the unconscious becomes a well of receiving the infinite flow and gifts of your future self. And the code begins to spiral from your soul star down towards the top of your head. And as it hits your crown and your skull, there is a slight electrical crackle as your nerves are impulsed and fueled with the brand new potentials within this code which has lain dormant. For these potentials fuel your growth forward. And as these potentials are realized, there is a web of light that is ignited within your brain, and a piercing light that awakens within your pineal gland, and your own inner light strengthens. So those soft blue eyes with which you have been thinking internally within become lighter and brighter. And the code spirals down now around your throat, sitting for a moment as it turns and feeds the energy center of your throat, sharing its potentials and higher resonant frequencies with your larynx and your voice, igniting your strength and ability to speak and stand in your truth, holding the sovereignty of who you are, whilst being surrendered to the enormity and fullness of divine will. What is it that has been waiting to be communicated through you and from you, that is gifted now with the frequencies of these new potentials? And the light travels down from your pineal gland and your brain, down with the code, as it drops even further, spiraling around your shoulders, your muscles, your arms, to rest and spiral over your heart. What potentials for self-love are awakened and gifted through these ignited frequencies within the light code? What growth and expansiveness awaits you through an expanded heart? Allow your heart to be infused with the love of your own higher self, as the lights and the potentials and the information within the petals of the code infuse not only your chakra and your energetic heart, but your physical heart, spiraling like fractal patterns throughout the arteries, fusing with your blood, enabling your blood and plasma to actually transmit and transport these new potentials throughout your body. What is the authentic you desire to move into? For movement is only possible when our heart guides us. And that code spirals down further to the solar plexus, where the potentials and gifts of your authentic power and strength are discharged from the petals of the code to this energy center, into your digestive system to be digested, to become an inherent part of the fabric of your being through this part of your physical system. For the anxieties, fears, and boundaries have been dissolved, and there is a strength that is realized through the solar plexus, the confidence to step into the height and highest expressions of your authentic self. And guiding these energies throughout your being is the essence of the sacred white lion companion. And that code spirals down further, spiraling through your sacral energy center, igniting the potentials for the birthing of new creativity, the birthing of the new you, the birthing of the future you within and through your form, through your energy fields, your subtle energy bodies, the joy of creating, the joy of the new you, the joy of the future you. Ignited through the release of the fears and the bravery and courage in this energy space. And the code shares its energy through your entire reproductive system, into the womb of your being, whether male or female, the creative source of life is held within this area. Like mini streaks of lightning, those potentials streak forth from within the code, encouraging and igniting the potentials for expansion. And then the code drops and spirals down around your root chakra, the core of your diamond, as it ignites the fire and the passion to continue to carry forward your sovereign, authentic self. And again, like streamers of light emanating from within the code, The light itself from within you forms a phoenix-like body that emerges from the ashes and the dissolution of all of your old fears, all of the molecules that have been released through the courageous acts of your facing into your deepest, darkest places within. All of those molecules reform themselves into a grand, fiery phoenix. Hold that fire within the root of your being as the source of your inner light brightens and strengthens even as the external light deepens and darkens. You stand now as a beacon of reborn, rebirthed light, life, and form. As that code now descends to embed within your Earth Star Energy Center and hold the source of that light firm for you, the source of your growth and expansion. And no longer do you see with your inner light a deep, dark well, but all around you, from within, you emanate light. Your inner light brightens the landscape in all directions. And like a lighthouse, you stand within your diamond, anchoring your position within the new future grids. And those streamers of light that were igniting the potentials within your being streak out and find the other diamond beings clearly now marked and held within the grids. Brilliant beacons within the darkness. And your potentials weave with the others, creating a new fabric, a new network of form and innovation, of creative ideas, new combined forms that had never before been imagined, are created as a consequence of your realization of your highest potential. The new forms arise like crystalline cities within the new grids. Technologies being implemented for the benefit of all. And these ideas and forms that you see through your integration with others within the grids are seeded into the hearts and minds of the new beings who will be carrying these ideas forward and supporting you with the realization of what is yours to create. And in this moment, you have complete clarity, and you are the totality of the light that exists, for you have conquered the darkness within. And now is the moment that the moon fully absorbs the rays of light from the sun. And yet there is light. for you have ignited the strength of your own light and the new potential of the highest frequencies of your light. And spend a while in the sheer joy of the new intricate forms that are interplaying with your communion throughout the grids. And imagine as you do, bringing new forms, new concepts, new ideas into being. For if we can imagine it, we can be it, we can create it. We can draw it down into the world of form. And those lights and spiraling, swirling, etheric forms, as they infuse the grids of the planet, ripple through the darkness that others may be experiencing, and ignite their own inner light and higher purpose. A tiny spark that encourages them to strive, that awakens them to a new journey. Hold your space, hold your light. Take one final look around at your entire being, and whether there are any places where your inner light needs to shine, wants to shine, desires to shine. Take a deep breath in as you become aware of how much your energy is undulating and weaving its way out into the communal grids, dancing with others, dancing with new creation, dancing again with life, carrying you into a new flow and a new dance with the wholeness and vastness of life itself, dancing without guilt, dancing without fear, creating without constraint, flowing with freedom, liberating you from the confines of your previous form of existence. You are the future. You are the future that is arising now. And the phoenix at the core of your being arises and spreads its wings, expanding you way beyond any previously perceived boundaries or concepts of who you were. And the essence of the sacred white lion companion continues to infuse your body and remains with you, rippling throughout the form of the phoenix, anchored within your earth star. As the external light now begins to emerge and strengthen, take a deep breath in as you prepare to return to waking consciousness, to allow the light of the new sun to infuse your being, to merge with your inner light. Deep breath in now, all the way down to the tips of your toes. And once more, as you realize that there is a smile upon your face, there is a smile within your heart, there is a courage within your stomach, and a strength throughout your entire being. Your growth has been initiated into this new cycle. Deep breath in. As you prepare to weave your way and weave your web and place in life. And when you're ready, take a deep breath in and breathe out as you prepare to return to waking consciousness when you are ready. And Elaine has told us that the crescent of light is now on top instead of the left side as it was during the total eclipse, and the sun is busy emerging from behind the shadow of the moon as we really step into a new way of being, to this new growth. So Elaine says, saw the new bean sprouting in the middle of my heart chakra. Oh, that's lovely. Yes, that's fantastic. And it's sprouting and it's going to grow over the coming months and years. Certainly the effect of this particular time is going to be felt for at least 6 months. So we'll find that we're going to be continuing this process of facing into fears that are arising, surrendering, dissolving those boundaries, and whatever limitations we've placed upon ourselves as a result of fear, and enabling the infusion of that new growth energy through all of that, that it threads through our being. So Rachel said one of my cats came and sat on my chest just as we were about to come out. He was purring away like a singing bird. Oh, that's beautiful. And then, oh, we've also got somebody who also saw a bean sprouting in their heart. Wow, how beautiful. In their heart center, growing new life Oh, bean sprout in the center of the earth, growing new life and food for everyone. Yep, and these are new ideas and concepts that are kind of come from the youth that are busy emerging at the moment. My kitty also went outside to ground himself. Wow. Oh, that's good. Kristen says, wow, this was so powerful. I felt so depressed this morning, but now I feel so uplifted and light. Thank you. Oh, that's lovely. Bunny said I could feel it so physically in my heart at the end in a way that I've never felt before. That is beautiful. Thank you guys for sharing. That is just so precious. Yeah, I also feel much, much lighter. The intensity and the pressure of the energy from this morning was really intense, and it felt quite exhausting. It wasn't quite depressive, but it was exhausting, but it certainly feels really powerful. And that, in fact, it was so interesting because the timing of this process as we were going through it was beautifully timed as Elaine was giving updates on the eclipse that right at the end we went into that full darkness. So see, we've got some lovely comments. White Star just said Salt Lake just had the fullness of the eclipse that is possible in this location, which is 91%. Amazing. Lisa says, um, oh, let's just see. So, sorry, Elaine says at the end it all came in. That's the energy. Very powerful and beautiful. One of the cats meowed out loud during the middle. Then she lay down. So we've got also, as I broke down the limiting beliefs, I noticed that there was a small animal inside. Oh, that's amazing. It was as though the fear was actually so small and I had created a large, scary monster around it. That's a beautiful analogy because I do find that, Rachel, when facing fear, is that, yeah, it is basically a monster that we've blown up. So Joe says, I felt a helix of rainbow light rushing through me, connecting with others all over the world. Beautiful. Felt all of you in the heart as I viewed the eclipse. Oh, Elaine, that's just so beautiful. And thank you so much for the updates as we were going through, because I realized that you were in and out of the process with the comments that you were putting on. We only lost connectivity twice during the call. So there was just a slightly extended gap, but it really held us. The white lion had a bright white diamond on his forehead. Just notice the light on the forehead of the image. Yes, isn't that amazing? And you know that purring was really, I could really feel it. Sort of, I know domestic cats purr, but there is a deep, deep resonance that takes us into the unconscious of ourselves and actually helps to remove and release those boundaries. And that was a profound part of profound part of the process. Oh, we've got here. Um, so Joe says, yes, I saw a bright white light on the lion's forehead too. Another one, before the purring, I heard a huge roar. Yes, and that's the voice. White Star said, I heard that deeper purring. It's a really deep resonance. Lisa, fear of survival released and many other things, but also felt the beautiful energies coming in connection to everyone in the diamond group. Yes, I heard the deep purring. And that was interesting because I hadn't actually thought about that until we were in the process, or connected with the healing attributes of the purring, because there are different frequencies. The range of frequencies of cats purring is really quite extensive, but it's very, very healing, and different frequencies actually support different healing attributes. So this was deep. Yeah, Lisa, purring ripples throughout my body. You might want to imagine that, and it's very interesting. It may be good to find a YouTube video or a YouTube sound effect of the purring, a purring that feels for you like a resonance with what we were experiencing, and then use it whenever you need it, and it will help to connect you with this process. So we've got, it was funny, we all connected our diamonds as though we were all laughing. That, yeah, the energy was a lot of fun. Yep, yes, I felt that towards the end, a huge lightness. The roar instills fear often, but the purring brought in heat, love and safety. Beautiful. Yes. Yes. And that was what I felt, just like domestic cats can purr. And Dorota says, that's beautiful. As I'm a voice healer, I feel purring very much. Oh, that's beautiful. Dorota, thank you. I'm vibrating all over. That's just absolutely lovely. Thank you all so much for sharing this wonderful experience. I can actually feel quite a bit going on in my own sacral center at the moment. So I think we're all experiencing it, feeling it in different ways and in different parts of our bodies. Just be aware of that. But your voice, that purring actually heals your voice so that your voice also becomes a roar and becomes an expression of that vibrational frequency, the frequency of release and of your potential. So really, really beautiful that we all have been in this space and been able to share this profound reset. This is literally like a reset through this eclipse. So Elaine says, sun is now a third back. Yeah, Bunny says, this is so deep and beautiful. Thank you. Was gentle. I found it very gentle. Lisa said, love the image of sharing energies between the sun and the moon. Yep. Yes, absolutely. And they both facilitate. They were facilitating and guiding our process really deeply. Cynthia, did you manage to stay with us? I saw a comment come up, but we were still in the process. Or did you get kicked out? I don't know if Cynthia's still with us. We've got some more comments coming in. Jacqueline says, amazing and beautiful. I was surrounded by 4 lions, but cannot remember anything after that. Oh, wasn't that amazing? I love it. It doesn't matter. As people say, well, I didn't hear what you said, and I really want to listen to the recording again. You know what? It doesn't matter because your experience and the energy is exactly what it needs to be for you. I was just sitting because I had to have my eyes open. I was looking at this image of the lion all the time, and I literally felt it beginning to purr with that deep frequency. So just really beautiful. It always is exactly what it needs to be. And much, much lighter. Yesterday, crickets were so loud at night, I thought they were practicing for the eclipse. That's Elaine. Oh, thank you for that comment, Elaine. I didn't really want to bring that into the process, but I saw your comment about the crickets chirping the minute that it darkened, when it darkened to that extent. So really lovely. Thank you. Honored to be sharing. Rachel says, thank you so much. Honored to be sharing this important day with you all. Our lights will be shining even more brightly now. I have to leave now. I've got my group. Oh, fantastic. Enjoy your group. Thank you, thank you, thank you, everybody. Have just a wonderful day, wonderful evening further. And thank you for sharing and participating and holding the faith, holding the space. Yeah, be the phoenix. And I'd love to know what was actually being created in that shared light, because that I could almost hear the frequencies zapping, sort of one up against the other, and as they did, there was like a new light form and life form being created within the grids. That's kind of what I was seeing and feeling as you guys were busy. So be very, very interesting to know what new creations you guys become aware of um, as you step forward from here. So Joseph, thank you. Julie and everyone, many blessings go with you. It was beautiful and powerful. Joe, thank you. Thank you for being here and wishing you, holding you in that courageous space. Just bring in the lion with the purr and allow that to actually infuse your voice in respect of the protests, because that will actually have a healing effect on all that you can share. So that would be very interesting. Let me know how it goes. And good luck. Go safely. Many blessings. Love you all. And oh, thank you so much. Um, Need to go. Yeah, everybody needs to go. Thank you so for sharing this space and sharing this time. There's Elena. Surround you, Joe, in a bubble. Beautiful. And I really look forward to the next time that we connect and wherever we are guided to explore, seed, and be in our energetic space. And thank you all again for sharing your unique and beautiful selves as part of this community. Thank you. Love you all. Good night.